Welcome back to another edition of Vikings Film Room, brought to you by the Vikings Entertainment Network. I'm your host, Pete Bercich. Well, the Minnesota Vikings are getting set to take on the division-leading New Orleans Saints. So let's dig into the film and find out what this vaunted defense really looks like and what our defense is going to have to be ready for. The first thing about this New Orleans Saints defense is that the defensive backs are hot. The cornerbacks are hot. Paulson Adebo, in this case, take a look at what they're trying to do in the concepts from man to zone, all these different things, but how aggressive these defensive backs can be. On this first play, you're going to see a four-man type rush, but they're dropping someone out in the middle, a lot like what we do. This is what you call the picket fence. Quarterback's trying to find just a zone somewhere in here. He looks up top first, but then decides to go down here. But look, watch Paulson Adebo. His eyes are where? They're on the quarterback, and he is going to watch his break on this ball. Boom, puts that foot in the ground, jumps in front, pulls the ball away. The Saints intercepted the Bears 3 times. That was one of the big ones. Now, the Bears did have some success by spreading this defense out, but you look at how much awareness means to this defensive back. Marcus May, in this case, is safety. Another example of those guys identifying routes and just breaking on the ball. This is the old school Zampese. We've talked about this 100 times. You bring one receiver in this area to pull this underneath coverage, and then you have this window between the linebacker and the safety. You can see that window, but May also sees that window. But watch what he does. He plants this foot and drives the shoulder of the receiver, comes in and turns defense into offense. That's an aggressive play. That's a heck of a break on the football. You got to have arm strength if you want to play quarterback against these Saints. And on this next interception, you're going to see Paulson Adebo again. But it's about awareness. Height, weight, and speed, they all matter for a corner, but awareness is what's important. And you'll see on this play that Adebo knows exactly what the Bears are trying to do. The Bears are running a receiver right up the middle of the field to try to clear out that safety to open this hole in the middle of the defense. And if you watch down here, Paulson Adebo, he's in that shoulder. He knows where this ball is going to be thrown. He's not worried about this receiver running a 7 route or any other out route, because there's also a threat here to the flat. He knows this is going to be an in route, and because of that, he's able to put that foot in the ground and, again, turn defense into offense. These DBs are great at reading routes, and they're great at jumping receivers. Now, as we get closer to this defensive line of the New Orleans Saints, Demario Davis, one of the better run-stuffing linebackers and physical linebackers. He's also a very good pass rusher, and in this case, he's basically running a D-line stump, but watch how well he executes this. Now, the concept is it's sort of a pick. The inside is the old TE. The tackle penetrates, and then the end loops around him, but watch the technique that he uses. He's able to get upfield, as is the guard and tackle fan. Once contact is made, he beelines for the hip of this tackle. Why? To set the pick, to allow this defensive end to come underneath. But because he puts his arms on his back, he's able to ricochet off this guy after the defensive end comes underneath. He's free, and sometimes it's the penetrator that gets the sack, forced fumble, another turnover for this Saints defense against the Bears. Now, one of the things with the Vikings' new quarterback, Josh Dobbs, that I'm excited about is that the New Orleans Saints like to play man-to-man defense. Now, will they be able to do so on Sunday? I don't know. Let's take a look. But we'll show you what Tyson Bagent does against man-to-man defense, in this case for the New Orleans Saints, because you watch Bagent get to the top of his drop. He gets a little bit of room. Now, in man-to-man, the DBs, the linebackers, their eyes are on their coverage. They're following. They're looking. Bagent's already 5, 6, 7 yards down the field. These guys are all just now smelling a rat and saying, we got to chase this quarterback down. But look at the amount of room that Tyson Bagent gets on a quarterback like ours, the way that Dobbs can run. I don't know how much man-to-man they're going to play. Another facet to this aggressive New Orleans defense, the ability to play fake, play actions, bootlegs. We'll show you what the Bears were able to do and how it worked for them. You'll see right here, Mooney in the backfield. This is the old submarine boot. We've seen this a million times out of us. But what happens is they have a mix-up in coverage. You've got 3 guys right here between Lattimore and Demario Davis. One of these guys has this guy in the flat. They get mixed up. What that means is now you have 4 New Orleans Saints between Mooney and the sideline. But watch what Mooney does. These guys all overrun, taking bad angles. And if it wasn't for this guy, look at the big fella. hustling. Look at him go. So these D linemen hustle, and these guys can have the speed to make up for mistakes. All right, so we saw how effective a bootleg can be. How about just the old school downhill play action pass fake? Watch these linebackers. Again, we talked about how aggressive these linebackers and safeties are. They're stepping up. They're seeing the tight end move in here. You got the jet sweep. They're feeling run. They're seeing run. And what do we do as an offense? Well, you keep your receiver in tight, and you just find this nice big area right behind where the linebackers are. Play fake, look up, big throw to the middle of the football field. So you could take advantage of their aggressiveness on defense. Now, offensively, there's a lot of names that you're going to recognize, but there's some new faces, especially this guy, Derek Carr. What does he do well? He and Chris Olave, the receiver down here, are on the same page, and they do a wonderful job of extending plays. In this case, you're going to see a red zone type play. Carr's getting to the top of his drop, and as we pause it here, we've got the double team up top. Everybody's covered right here, right? Everybody's covered. There's not a whole lot that he can do. But watch what Olave is able to do. Watch this move. He works himself inside. This is like Brandon Powell against the Atlanta Falcons. Pivots out, throw, touchdown. They do a very, very good job of extending plays together. Now, for Derek Carr in a new system, we're seeing some of the same old tricks that he likes to do, and that's attacking the middle of the field. He's very good at attacking the middle of the field. In this case, you'll see reduced formation, two receivers stacked down here at the bottom. They're going to go after the middle of the field, right? One short underneath. You get Olave at the top of his drop, but there's a gap here between the linebacker and the safety. This is that open area. And if you see Carr, he's already getting ready to throw this football. He knows exactly where to put it. So these two, Olave and Carr, are on the same page. A lot of the time, they will attack down the middle, so our linebackers and safeties have to be ready. Here's a name you're going to remember, Alvin Kamara, right? Three receivers at the top. Most of the time, you're going to get something deep, something out, and then something inside. They bunch up so they can go in different directions. But this is a little bit unique, and you're going to see how they game plan for this. Now, as Kamara gets to the outside, notice the DB. He's expecting Kamara to work his way to the flat. Usually, the guy on the inside is the one that goes to the flat. But what they're doing is they're actually running three different in routes. And you'll see Carr in the pocket, ready to go. But as this thing opens, great juke to the outside. There's that open seam again, right on the hash mark. They love to go after the middle of the field, so we got to be ready. Now, we're featuring a lot of kind of the spread offense for New Orleans because I think this is where Carr is at his best. They don't always do this, but you see this look that the Bears are putting on, right? You got 8 guys at the line of scrimmage. They're showing that blitz, but what does that do? That opens up, again, the middle of the field. They know what's coming. Watch this route that they run. They're running spacers, right? You got a guy here on the hash, a guy in the middle, and then a guy running the out. And Carr does a wonderful job of seeing this issue right here. He's got the tight end running up the seam, and he knows this drag route's going to pull this DB. You've got this nice big area in the middle of the field. He anticipates it. He's looking this way to hold that safety so he can't jump it. Nice move. The DB's thinking he's going to go outside, that he has help in the middle. Tight end cuts it up the middle. Big throw. Nice catch. So overall, Josh Dobbs is going to have to find a way to take advantage of the bootlegs and the play actions to get guys open down the field. And then defensively, you got to protect the middle of the field and get after Derek Carr.